Alrighty, guys. Welcome back to our Fate Stay Night, Heaven's Feel, Movie 1, Presage Flower, Analysis, Aftermath, Pre-Movie 2 discussion, whatever you want to call it. I hope you have your sweat buckets, your hype buckets installed. We're ready to go. Round 3. We're having a real good time so far. And we're already beyond the movie length. We're at 2 hour 16 minute just in the first two videos, and I'm gonna try and split up the rest of what I have into two parts. So no matter whether we reach an hour or not, I intend to split it up. So we'll try and cover the rest of the movie, then we'll cover all sorts of speculative aftermath thoughts, so kind of like more so pre-movie 2 thoughts as the finale. And then I'll be able to I'll be ready for movie 2. Very, very excited. I want to get there. I want to be there. Believe me. All right, so I do believe we kind of time jumped a little bit on accident by several minutes. For some reason, one of the notes last time was in the wrong spot, so it's kind of a tough call, I have to assume, just based upon the timestamp I noted down. All right, so we're at hour 3 and 52 second. A rather expressive reporter is like sedated to the info of a gas leak. So I guess I was going for sarcasm there. Shirao checking Sakura out. Them lips. Oh my goodness, the detail. Shirao, he's wanting the smoochalicious. He's wanting the make-out session. He's wanting to slip her the tongue. Or something. Something PG, not that. So, anyhow, just another hint, allusion, that Shirao is into Sakura this time around in this route, not Rin. Although Sakura may be of the impression he digs Rin, and that might come into play later on, I'm not sure. It's a 50-50 assumption. Could go either way. You know. All right, so hour 4 minute 38 second. Those hospital hallway visuals. Wow, the detail on that sucker. Wow. Rin says Archer has recovered. The question is, from what? From what exactly did he recover from? One has to presume some aftermath with Berserker that we didn't get to see due to Saber getting injured and Shirao getting almost sliced in half, let's be honest. Almost sliced in half. So we have to assume maybe there's more pertinent to the visual novel there or something. Rin investigated Ryudu Temple, apparently. Kazuki Suichirao did indeed die. I think I was a bit confused here in the movie because they panned to one character in like a bed and still alive, so I kind of just didn't really put it together. I was trying to absorb everything, and then I kind of can just lose detail. I'm focusing so darn much, I blank out. So, so it is indeed the case that Suichirao is dead, along with Castor. Castor is gone, but they create this interesting mystery because the gas leaks remain. Now, in Fate Stay Night, Castor was behind the gas leaks, but they continue on beyond her death. Castor was trying to power up before, and things did not go according to plan there this time. So what in the heck? Who's behind the gas leaks? If Castor is gone, who would create such havoc, such bad things to happen to people? What kind of sick sadist would cause that? Rin asks something of Sakura, maybe pertinent to the gas leak. I'm not sure. I didn't write it down. 106, hour 6:44 second. We get a Rin Shirao alliance. Interesting to note, they were only going for a temporary truce, but now they're going for an alliance, and Archer opposed it. So that gives you some hinting that he's following the footsteps of, presumably, Unlimited Blade Works route, goal in mind, what he wants out of this, and why he would want to win the Grail War. All right. That's an interesting thing they should probably play up more. I mean, they're on real cramped time, so, in the other routes, the Fate Stay Night and UBW route, they probably should have played up all the, hey, if I win the Grail War, what am I going to wish for? What would I wish for? They should probably have played that up more so. It's a really interesting component, because if you applied that to the real world, there's seemingly a very broad spectrum of options, and people would choose all sorts of different things for all sorts of different reasons. Some may be better than others, but it would be interesting to hear about that stuff more often. But I understand they're cramped on time. I understand that here. 6-hour format. I would prefer maybe prefer a 9-hour, but we sure wouldn't want something like Hobbit trilogy. Good gosh, that sucked. That sucked. That was nothing like Lord of the Rings or the book itself. It was disgusting. Disgusting what it did. It didn't do no good compared to the book. The book was worlds better than the movies, in my view. They purposely tried to stretch it out when they only had to do 2 movies, probably at most, and all that jazz. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Fate Stay Night. Not just any Fate, the seemingly last of the main Fate. Oh, how I will miss it. All right, so Archer opposes for obvious reasons if we've seen the other routes, which we have. And so we got Rin Shiro alliance, which is going to be interesting later on because of what if Shiro gets in a pinch? Well, let's just put this out there. Let's just throw this out there because it's a possibility. What if this Rin Shiro alliance gets a monkey wrench moment? What if Shiro can only save one of 2 people? What if he can only save Rin or Sakura? And interestingly to note, if he digs Sakura, he would choose to save Sakura. You're going to choose who you care about. So that would suck for Shiro if he has to live with himself through this, just the Grail War alone, if he had to choose to let Rin die but saves Sakura. And do you know how giddy Sakura would be at that? She would probably be a little sadist with that as well. Um, so it's just interesting, worth discussing. All right, 1 hour, 8 minute. Shiro nearly uh, uh, witnessed Shinji beating Sakura, and he gets very, very teed off, justifiably so. Probably wanted to knock some teeth out. And they have their squabble, I think, from what I recall. Little minor squabble. I think Shinji just headbutt him back after the confrontation, and Sakura wanted them to chill out. Shinji just resident dirtbag. He's so easy to dislike. He just slaps and beats Sakura. Bro, what are you doing? What are you doing, Shinji? It's like they need. I don't know. Why do we have any basis to dislike him later in this route or something? Like, does he have to be exactly the same? And can't there be like a variety of basis to dislike him? I don't know. So it kind of feels. I mean, there's the consistency of it, which is fine, but I almost wish there was variety of basis for why we would dislike Shinji for something later to happen. All right. Hour 14, 48 second. Sakura pops the question. She pops the question from the trailer or something like that, I think. This is ever so cryptic, and who knows how darn important this Sakura is. This Sakura is. They have their nice little moment, and that's the part that I accidentally jumped to. Part of it, the 1 hour 10 minute 23 second last time, it was in the wrong place in my notes, so copy and paste and everything, trying to get everything in order and thoughts. So she comes to see him. She's wearing her beautiful white dress. I don't know if that's going for symbolism. We talked about that before. For later contrast or not, or if it's just general character design. I don't know. But they talk all this stuff, and I guess towards the end, she asks the question to Shiro. Very cryptic. If I became a bad person, would you be able to forgive me? Something along those lines, anyhow. But I probably got the exact. Sakura, why would you ask that? Why would you ask such a question like that? That's very interesting and very curious. If I became a bad person, would you be able to forgive me, Shiro? My dearest, my love. A bad person. Well, right off the bat, you have to wonder, what does she mean by bad person? What does that imply? What is she thinking? Going from not bad person to bad person, there's got to be some meat and potatoes there. What does she have in mind? Something's up. Something is up. You don't just say that. That means something. If a friend says that to you, something's up. Something's up. And Shiro, what an idiot not to inquire. Typical. Him just being reckless, even, not inquiring. What the heck are you talking about? You better not, la 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 la. But he did give a response uh, I forget the exact, but if you were to, go off the rails, I would admonish you something like that, or the sort. So she was like comforted by that. Okay, good. But what does it imply? What does it imply if she becomes a bad person? What could that possibly contain? And pertinent to a rail war going on? It could have all sorts of elements. Or it could be pertinent to the Rin thing. She sees, maybe Sakura sees Rin as a romance threat with Shirao due to former illusions, even though Shirao likes Sakura. Sakura might see Rin as a threat, romance-wise. So if she enters this Grail War, with Shinji being a complete failure, then she could have the deliberate goal in mind to knock Rin out of this thing. And not just Archer. Sakura could want to take Rin out. Oh boy, would that be something. A Rin versus Sakura war in the Grail War. And then Shirao, all the options writing-wise with Shirao you'd have. He has to make a choice. And he don't even have it all. He's got to make a choice. I almost got to something a little there, but that's okay. He's essentially powerless. I can say that anyway. Because this is an aftermath analysis, so presumably people saw everything anyway. He's essentially powerless. So it would be interesting if there was a Rin versus Sakura moment. He can't do diddly squat, or maybe he will be able to. There's a chance. And what if he has to choose a side? What if he chooses Rin to defend Rin? What if Sakura's the aggressor, Rin the defender? Is Shirao going to defend Rin, and that anger Sakura all the more? I don't know. I think love blinds you. Love blinds you to certain things. You won't notice certain things. So if Sakura becomes bad, a bad person, Shirao could get blinded to that, actually. So I don't know. He might side with Sakura. That would be something. That would be a crazy, crazy turn of character for him. Almost a plot twist with how good-natured he is and self-sacrifice to the point of stupidity in the other routes. So there's a lot of interesting unknown potential there. Rin, Sakura, and Shirao in the midst. Interesting. All right. Hour 15, 55 second. Incidents in town. The gas leaks, the, I guess, murder sprees, different things like that. Different little incidents. Likely related to assassin whose aim it was to lure in a good-natured servant assassin. So, talk about strategic Assassin is being very strategic. So 16-minute to about hour 24, 40-second is Lancer versus Assassin. Lancer confronts Assassin. And, shush, stomach. Those panning shots. Holy moly. Guacamole. There went the budget with those panning shots. Animation that transcends the industry. Very impressive. It almost didn't look like anime. With the all the 3D stuff with the vehicle exploding and all that, it almost didn't look like anime. It's like they set a new standard. It was really something else to see. It was really good. Just golden budget. They do so well, so well. So I kind of want to just jump to the conclusion in my notes here, but we get different parts to this fight. We get the confrontation. Assassin just, for the most part, fleeing. He sets up a trap. They which doesn't work. Lancer immune to projectiles, something like that. He can do some sort of wind thing. They do parkour all over the city, fighting. The highlight is that dang, everything pertinent to the vehicle. So stuff from the trailer, the whole city alive. It just really adds to it. It just really adds to it. And it contrasts the other routes where things just didn't seem as alive. I really do appreciate the difference. The extra effort there with the city being alive. All this traffic, everything going on. So then they get to the point where Assassin lures Lancer to this swampy type area, this swampy lake type area, and Assassin he gets his mask, his face mask, almost knocked off enough to reveal his identity, which we could talk about that for 5 minutes. Why would they even, play that up? Is there more to it than no pun meets the eye? Is it just pertinent to his character design, or are they really, really saving a golden plot nugget pertinent to Assassin's real identity this time? Are they going to pull out a huge, shocking plot twist with the identity of Assassin? Is Assassin maybe part of a counter force or something like that, with the depthier lore that I'm not really into with the Fate series? And I think that's also tied to that other movie series. I forget what it's called. Kara no Kyokai, or no, is that it, or was that one other thing? Was that I don't know. I assume it is. So they could be going for multiple things. It might just be the character itself, character design, or it could be pertinent to some gigantic reveal later on. You could speculate just absolutely anything that way. Um, there's so much unknown with this route. It's the quantity of mystery is really nice. Big fan of mystery, so um, who knows? Could be the case. Even maybe even Kuritsugu. Could Kuritsugu be the real identity of Assassin this time, or is it just part of the character design, a different identity of the legend of this version of the assassin of before, which he spawned from? That beats me. I don't know what's really going on, but it's fun to speculate along the way. So we get to this point, and Assassin, true to his role, purposely using the environment to his advantage. This entity that took Castor, an assassin, now latches on to the living Lancer. Does not target Assassin. Does not target Assassin. Although Assassin was, for the most part, trying not to touch the water. So that could be a trigger. It might not. Is Assassin in control of this thing? If anyone, this sort of lake entity that we, I guess, call it for now, lake entity. Yeah. So it leads up into the finale of this fight, which I think I got kind of confused about in the moment. I thought the ribbony thing was pertinent to Assassin's Noble Phantasm. Maybe that was the case, or maybe I was just getting different things confused in the moment. I don't know what the heck happened, but Assassin was going for his Noble Phantasm. Lancer was going for his Noble Phantasm. So I was either referring to things as, I don't know. I might have got it mixed up. At least it seemed to be the case. Of course, I watch my own reaction. Boy. And once again, I don't know how the heck we filmed that. Now I'm of the thought that we recorded on the old software. So either which way, we're going to record it in a better way. Movie 2 and 3. It's just with the two options, it can darken out my face, which negates the point of the reaction, or it can drop the FPS, which doesn't really do us much good either. So two options, but overall it'll still probably be better than how we did things before. So yeah, both Noble Phantasms going. Assassin, his one arm, his right arm, he can extend out his right arm, go for the enemy's heart, steal their heart, and can crush it. So right when Lancer was going for his Noble Phantasm to unleash that sucker, Assassin said that he's out of time. He's lost. He loses. And he crushes Lancer's heart. So, with his noble phantasm, he's able to steal other characters' hearts right from him. He doesn't even have to grab on. He just merely kind of touched Lancer's chest somewhat. It was enough to get it. It was enough to get it. Just crazy. So Lancer had to deal with Assassin and this lake entity at the same time. So I kind of jumbled and got that confused in the moment, I think, that the lake entity thing was pertinent to Assassin's noble phantasm. But then he was doing something completely separate. So I don't know. It might have just kind of flew over my head in the moment. I'm not sure. Or maybe I did know what the heck was going on. It is just so much to absorb. And those dang panning shots, just amazing. And the animation transcends the industry. Just very impressive. When Assassin did the protective runes thing and created like this box, and the visuals with the water spinning around, oh my gosh, man. How much time did they spend on that? You know? Oh man. You gotta invest in these. You gotta invest in these. Man, oh man. The Fate series is definitely one of the best. Definitely one of the best. All right, let's. So, Assassin. The climax of this sucker, Assassin loses, or not Assassin. Assassin wins. He crushed Lancer's heart. Lancer loses. He didn't get off his noble phantasm in time. His gay bulge, as people mock it. Oh my goodness, that's kind of funny. Oh boy, gay bulge. So Assassin is now stunningly 2-0, seemingly easy, like manhandling all these other servants, and it's just getting really shocking. But once again, I love the role this assassin plays versus the other kind. This one is much more in tune with the role, the character, the assassin name, much more typical classic Japan type role. Shogun Japan, maybe. Assassin is just working it. He's just working it. And shockingly, the same servant in the first movie eliminates 2 other servants. It's very shocking. It's very shocking. So Lancer and Castor, who was a major player in the other round. So even Suichiro. So 3 assassin is taken out. Just beast mode. Being very strategic. Being very, very strategic. This is what an assassin would do. An assassin would lure the enemy into a trap if they can't deal with them one-on-one normally. So, and then using whatever environment to their advantage. Here's the thing we catch. Here's the thing. Assassin deliberately lured him there, so Assassin knew of this lake entity. How does he know of this lake entity? How does he know? How does he know? And why did it not attack him when he entered the water? very much more brief, but is that a trigger for this lake entity, that a servant gets too close to it? And why would it be hiding at the depths of a lake? Why would a lake entity have to hide? It's not like the Loch Ness Monster or something. It's something far worse. If something is hiding at the bottom of the lake, that almost indicates a weakness, if something can get to it before it can get to them. It's going to be interesting how they keep track of all the different characters' awareness of, you know, there's something going on here at this lake. That type of consistency is going to be really interesting to keep track of, or try to. So Lancer loses. Oh, Lancer's dead by assassin, just like the other two, Switchrow and Castor. And I guess maybe the prior assassin as well. Even though this one seems to take direct baton, because he was still under Castor's reign. So it's not a different assassin. It's the same one. Just, I think, a different identity manifested from himself, if that makes sense. So, interesting thing to note here, though. Very interesting. From Castor, we didn't get to see. Castor didn't have the her magic staff manifested, so we didn't get to see it disappear or not. From what it showed us of this assassin versus lancer, the lance fell, stuck, and remained. It remained there. The former assassin, it disappeared, and the body got taken over, whatever the case. It could be just taken over, disintegrated, or covered up, then taken. I don't know. Castor got dragged off the body. So the lance remained. So that was a WTF moment. The whole entire conclusion was a WTF moment. Assassin eats Lancer's heart. I'm not sure if they botched this moment with the order of scenes, but it like, I think it might have showed the heart disappear and then it was back in Assassin's hand. So maybe it was just Assassin saving it for a second, have just kill off, make sure Lancer's dead, and then eat the heart. I don't know. It almost seems like they botched. There's very minimal botches or inconsistency. Very minimal. Still, if they let something like that in this, that's not a good sign. A botch. This stuff should be combed over like nothing else. So, more than hair from the 70s. So this lake entity thing, very interesting. Red, black, ribbony things, you know. The only way this could be better is if we hadn't seen the Fate Stay Night route, because that gives me a hint. That gives me a hint, a possible hint. The only hint I have, the only hunch, not hunchback, but hunch. In the Fate Stay Night route, these black, red, ribbony things were tied to Castor doing some weird trash on Sakura. And with Castor toast, thus I can only deduce it has to be based upon Sakura somehow. Somehow. I don't know how, but somehow. Again, why the heck Sakura would be tied to something to the bottom of a lake? Some weird lake entity eating up other servants? Yeah, no idea. That ain't gonna be explained easily to me. So, all right. So directly, watch this. Right after this sucker ends, right after that battle ends, 124, 1 hour 24 50-second mark. Sakura awakens. She wakes up without Shiro nearby, and she's seemingly chilled or sick. Um, I I feel like we're almost missing or skipping certain little things. Sakura got iffy, and she had Shiro stay with her. I don't know if they're going for any little symbolism there. I'm not gonna try and dive deep into that. That's what she said. But yeah, right when that battle ends, she wakes up in terms of how they present it, you know, scene order, the order of scenes. Lancer dies. This lake entity takes Lancer. Sakura wakes up. So she's getting like a bug, an illness, or something going on. It's very bizarre. I don't. It could just be face value, but you want to think, no, it's tied to something, perhaps. Perhaps. Is her getting iffy somehow tied to her statement and the lake entity and these servants getting eaten up by the lake entity? But why would she get more sick if more servants died off and the lake entity? So little answers, at least for now, I guess. All right. Oh gosh, we got to get moving. Holy moly, we're going way too slow. 1 hour 27 59-second. Archer, very expressive response to seeing the unknown lake entity appear. We get this face-off between Zauken and Shirao and Rin. So the alliance continues, and Sakura out of the fray. So Archer, just this really expressive, shocked look at seeing this unknown lake entity. Not at the lake now. Not at the lake. So to me, this signals something. Number one, he was either just completely afraid of this sucker, and or two, he knows what this sucker is. He's dealt with the counterforce. So he's probably experienced something similar, you would think. And I think he later declines knowing what it was, but it seemed as though he did. It really did. So I think he's withholding information. Possible later revelation when it's more necessary. Very interesting. So here's another very interesting thing. There's all this battle back and forth. I'm accidentally skipping some good stuff. Oh man, we almost lost Saber. Zauken used the corpse of Castor with the dagger to almost steal Saber, but thankfully Archer was there and saved her from it. So because they were a team, and it was 2 versus 1, Saber was not lost. So Zauken was deliberately targeting Saber to gain Saber, probably to defeat Berserker. or stack the deck. Um, so there's a part with this where I get confused. I thought Zauken was threatening to target Rin with giant fireball thing from Caster, but he was referring to him empowering Caster with his own power. This kind of big hit attack. So this unknown lake entity, that thing, black red thing, it just hovers around. It's very weird movement, very weird. There's nothing holding it up. I don't know how much the ribbon count is on the sucker. I forget. But I think it's a certain amount. There's like lower ones and higher ones. There's ones touching the ground. So I don't get the movement with this thing. I don't understand it. Very mysterious. I love the mystery. But Zauken redirects the attack from Saber to this lake entity. The lake entity just nullifies the entire attack, and the attack absorbs so much power, the area, the power got knocked out. So the entire attack just nullified this lake entity, mobile lake entity. I don't know. I want to speculate so many darn things. So then we get a false death of Zauken. Archer goes in for the distraction. With this distraction, chops him. But it was just, of course, he's just using a copy clone of himself, so it wasn't the real him. And he goes like, Orien. It's like, no way. So Zauken is really stunned and shocked. So Zauken is even afraid of whatever the heck this is. So it's not tied to Zauken for some reason. It's not tied to Zauken, and yet Zauken seemingly utilized this to acquire Caster. So why is he petrified of it? Unless he's doing a ruse in front of the others. He's absolutely petrified of it. Now he's completely spooked. And probably afraid he will lose with whatever this is. So this sucker is just a huge indicator. Huge indicator. This sucker is going to be the difference maker. So this kind of thing ends off with it left the lake to retrieve Caster. So it breaks down Caster, presumably absorbs Caster, and then it like directs an attack upon Rin. That's where it gets very interesting. On what basis would this lake entity, mobile lake entity, attack Rin? So we're getting all these little dots connected. If you can just, dig a little bit, just a little bit past surface value. If you dig just a little past surface value, and if you just look for intent, why would a lake entity attack Rin out of everyone there? Either chance or intention. It seemed like intention. So I think I know what everybody's thinking. I think I know. This lake entity seems to be the case. It's dropping these little tiny information nuggets that this sucker is somehow tied to Sakura. Very interesting when the Matau family is supposed to be all allied, and yet Zaukin is afraid of the sucker. Zaukin afraid of, presumably, Sakura and this unknown mobile lake entity eating up the servants, and yet he somehow was able to retrieve Castor from it. So how was he able to do that and yet acts shocked at seeing it? And how did he become aware of it? How did he know about it? How did he know he could steal Castor? A lot of explaining needs to be done, let's just say. So this lake entity aims an attack upon Rin. Shirao notices. He's able to essentially shield Rin by tossing her out of its path and him stepping in the path. So once again, his other self, his typical other self from the other routes comes in, and we get all this weird spazzy visuals upon, we see what Shirao sees, and it's all this weird bizarre visuals, very difficult to discern. There could be infinite untold amount of symbolisms and hintings, but the one takeaway from it that you have to, pause play like nothing else, and try to do crazy slow-mo, is you have to pause it on a certain frame, one certain frame in there, or one certain imagery. It seems to be a little girl with a rabbit doll. Now, this girl appears to have the hair of Sakura, the hair color of Sakura. So I deduce this is Sakura. So once again, we have another tie-in to Sakura. So there's 2-3 different connections to Sakura and nobody else that this could be tied to somehow. So my conclusion is this is pertinent to Sakura somehow. That's my takeaway. And I can't tell with the image, but it's almost like the girl is also holding something else, maybe like a knife or something. It's very disturbing. And the question is, how is that? How are we seeing that? Because if this is of Sakura, then that can't be her viewpoint somehow, unless it's like if it were a picture, then it could be one of her memories. Otherwise it would have to be something looking at Sakura. So we're seeing something, an unknown entity's angle looking at Sakura. Oy, oy, oy. I hope the former. I hope the former. So, all right, let's get a move on here. Oh gosh, we can't make it 5 parts, can we? No. So 1 hour, 30 minute, 30 seconds. Saber brings Shiro home. Sakura, very emotional. She does the specific movement. It's a nice little jog movement. Stunning distant detail. Stunning distant detail. Oh, butter smooth. And Sakura wants his protection by her alone. She alone. You got to watch this scene very carefully. She wants to deal with Shiro. She wants to deal with him, protect him, take care of him alone, not with Saber holding him up as well. So she's trying to protect him, and by her, not any other chick. It's very interesting. So she's kind of becoming possessive of him. 1:31, 1 hour 31, 6 second. Kirei casually eating. It's very bizarre. It's very bizarre to see him so casual. Not his setting at all. It's very weird. Shiro and Kirei talk. Kirei knows all about the former knight and knew that assassin killed Castor via Lancer spying upon them. So then who was the little robot spy bug from? Zauken? And he hints assassin knew of the unknown entity to use on Lancer. How would Kirei know, and why would he lose his own servant? Why would he let him lose his own servant? Kirei, what are you doing, bro? What are you up to? And he seemingly is puppeting, trying to control Shiro by saying the entity there is reaching citizens to drain the mana from them, similar to what Castor did in a different route. So the city is doomed. He hands him a medical report. Under 30, got comatose. He gives him the location, Ryudu Temple. Once again, that temple. So he knows Shiro's going to act. Kirei mentions the entity feeding when he is eating. Huh. Oh. How does he know about the entity? How do characters know about the entity? How do they know all about it? Seemingly. All right, 1 minute 35, 25 second. 1 hour 35 minute 25 second. That glass pane, I'm telling you. All right, we're almost done with our third hour here. Let's just. Oh gosh. Ah, dang it. Are we gonna have to break it up? I don't know. We could just try and plow through it quicker. I don't know. 1:36 minute mark. Rin, Shiro talk of separate attack plans. So they're not going to do things together, allied or neutral anymore. Well, they might be allies or neutral, but they're not going to try and be a team and go at things together. They're splitting up. So what happens when you split up? That's a bad sign generally in media. So I should have known something at that point, but I didn't. So here's where things take a different turn. Before in the other rounds, I think they stuck together. So here they're splitting up to tackle two different things, 2 different areas, 2 different times, whatever. So the ceasefire continues. Rin goes after Matao, and Shiro goes after the Shadow, whatever the heck is haunting the lake entity at Ryudu Temple. I didn't say that right, did I? No. Rin wants caution with the Shadow until they learn more. Yeah. Then attack. If they can attack. Who knows what the heck this thing is. 1:37 minute mark. Or whatever. 1 hour 37. Sakura talks to Saber of Shiro's safety, so she's all concerned, so she's going to be talking about it. 1 hour 38 mark. The snow changes the landscape visuals. And this could be another one of those great symbolic moments. Great symbolic moments where it's kind of like rain indicates something iffy is going to happen sometimes, where the snow changes the landscape, indicating, hey, this route is about to go somewhere very, very different. It might be, or it might just be their art style choice for the near the end here, or in the next two movies. Who knows? Yeah, let's just go for it. Attack with it. So 1 hour 39 minute mark. Shirao, Saber investigate Ryudu Temple. They're there. Assassin and Zhao can appear. Honto ni gozaimasu. Honto. So we get Shirao versus Zhaoken and Saber versus Assassin breaks down. Our 40-minute mark, Saber does this wind attack, which I misinterpreted what it was from the trailer. I thought it was something else, but it turned out to be Saber based. And Assassin counters it with some other thing he has, some other move ability he has from his backstory, travels, whatever. And Assassin leads Saber into the dangerous area. 1 minute 45 second. The black-red ribbons start to appear for another. And that another is Saber. And we get these epically grand, beautiful water visuals. Like this wave attack. Not attack, but this like wave. So I don't think like ribbony things could do necessarily that kind of a wave. It's almost like indicating that there's some sort of like body to this ribbony thing, seemingly. I don't know. It's difficult to discern. Very difficult. So the ribbon thing goes after Saber. Once again, note, not Assassin. It does not go after Assassin. Why? Why does it not go after Assassin? If it went after Lancer, that one we could have, let it slide because Assassin was on like floating log mat or wood or whatever. He wasn't touching the water. Saber wasn't touching the water. Assassin or Lancer was. Lancer got attacked. So what the heck triggered it this time? It's not touching the water. Saber didn't touch the water. So what the heck is the trigger? Assassin ain't triggering it. So is something in control of it? Or does it actually have some sort of triggers? Why wouldn't it target Assassin? Or both of them? Better yet, both. Why not both? You got two servants, and you only target one. Is it just by chance limited that it can only go after one at a time? That would be too risky for Assassin. That can't be the case. No way. Deliberately leading servants there to get an advantage. So it latches on to Saber. These things latch on to Saber, and it starts changing Saber. It starts like corrupting Saber or whatever. It starts changing her. These visuals on Saber. It's like trying to gain control of Saber. Like, what the heck? It's just like, no, 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 no. Saber, our beloved Grand Saber. And Assassin starts mouthing off about this thing, this entity. Servants can't oppose it. How do you know, bro? How do you know? How do you know, Assassin? Please tell us. How do you know? How do you know about this sucker? Why does he know? How does he know? He goes on, pure-based servants, their sanity is ruined just by the touch of it alone. How does he know? How does Assassin know? He has to have, insider knowledge or foreknowledge somehow. He has to. Did he experience this before? I think it could be plot twist with his identity. I don't know. But this sucker, this thing, it's taking over Saber. 1 hour, 42 minute, 15 second. Shirao gets to the point where he has to summon Saber. He summons Saber. He uses command seal to summon Saber, even though she's probably, maybe a football field away? Something like that. He needs help against Sauken, but she's dealing with Assassin. And this red black ribbony trash, an unknown lake entity thing. I skipped one. I skipped a 30-second prior. Hour 41, 45 seconds. Saber starts trying to reverse this effect upon her, and it starts working, but she's completely hogtied. She's completely hogtied with this. She has to focus on undoing this control upon her. And Assassin, just perfection roll. He decides, now's the time. She's hogtied, so I'm going to defeat this servant right here and now. No, thank you. Not beloved Saber. No, you don't, Assassin. No, please, no. So Assassin starts to use his noble phantasm. So he's going to steal Saber's heart while she's stuck trying to undo this effect upon her and get free of these dang things. So presumably reverse the full control of it on her and then slash him away. So she's got to focus on it not taking, full control of her, number one, getting to her brain or whatever. not letting it get full control. She stopped it at like the last portion of her. So she started reversing it by focusing on it, her power. And it's all she can muster. She's latched on. She's being taken over. She's fighting it off. She's making little progress, but it's too slow. So Assassin, perfect timing. He's going for his noble phantom. He's going to steal her dang heart and kill her off. It's unbelievable. Saber, in a pinch. Saber, who's usually, the star. The star character. And to see the star character in a bind, in a pinch, about to be killed off, it's something else. It's unbelievable. but placed in the wrong situation, I guess any servant can be fallible to fall. So yeah, 30 second later, so it kind of ties these two events together. Shiro in a pinch, he summons Saber using command seal. Saber about to befall to assassin using noble phantasm, going to steal her heart. And then we get this attack from Saber, this her final tidbit, which she does an attack thing. And it kind of goes back and forth panning. So the Saber attack is just prior to Shiro summoning, and apparently Saber, instead of having her heart taken and being killed off, she simply jumped into the lake to deal with the lake entity overtaking her versus succumbing to assassin. So she had no other choice. She picked the best option. So, and from the last counterattack bit she did, his assassin, his noble phantasm arm got damaged. It got sliced up. So he's partially hurt. Who knows if that's going to come later into play, if he'll have to heal that up. He says Saber, he says all this cryptic trash. He says she chose to confront her own darkness. How does he know everything? So then we get the shot at an hour 43 minute mark. Very interesting. Yet again, who knows what they're going for, if it's just mere coincidence or if there's some sort of consistency, but it seems there's a little consistency here. So Sakura earlier getting kind of iffy, and then kind of having a cold, and now she keeps sleeping and waking up. Who don't? But hour 43 minute, Sakura like profusely sweating, not profusely, but Sakura just complete sweat fest during her sleep when she's not doing anything, and flip-flopping like a fish, struggling, moving around. WTF, what? And a little bit of that opie though. Mild service there, very mild, brief. If you're sweating during your sleep, that's not a good sign. Why do they keep tying all these lake entity moments right near a Sakura scene, pertinent to her being sick or her waking up or whatever the case? It seems like they're going for something there. It seems like they're trying to communicate something without revealing it. It's what it feels like. So 1 hour 43, 5 second. Shirao, they did this perfect, how they panned between different scenes. Shirao, he summoned Saber. And here we see Shirao loses all his command seals. AKA Saber's toast. Saber's gone. Ah, all the passion. I tear up just saying it. Man, oh man. But my eyes are probably burnt out too, so we'll just blame that. Yeah, we're tough. It's just the dust. It's just the dust. It's a little bit of wind. So Shirao, now it's Shirao versus Zauken without Saber. So he's just getting eaten up by the Zauken bugs. And 1 hour 43 52nd. Assassin stops Shirao from attacking Zauken right when he was going to probably get in one mild hit. And Assassin just manhandles Shirao. So now it's like, okay, he is toast. Shirao is toast. Absolutely toast. So Shirao versus Zauken and Assassin. 1 hour 44 minute mark. Zauken leaves Assassin to finish off Shirao. So, and just when you thought they weren't going to give anything else, they do. They do. And here's another very interesting thing. I take great interest in it. I take great interest in it. Assassin goes to toss 4 blades at Shirao. And hour 44, 11-second mark. Nice panning shot. Ryder arrives to defend Shirao from Assassin. Now, tell me something. Tell me something. It seems blatantly obvious now. After all these things, it just seems like it's all being connected together little by little. But I feel like it just all needs to be explained more. Why would Ryder defend Shirao? Why would Ryder defend Shirao? Think of the other routes. Ryder skewered Shirao in the other route when it was Shinji. But Shinji got epic fail, so I conclude a certain someone is now the master of Ryder. At least by this point. If not prior to this. Who knows when, but it's clear by now that somebody else is the master of Ryder. And I think I know who that someone is. Who would protect Shirao? We all know. It's obvious. And that's going to be very interesting the next 2 movies to see what kind of difference that makes. Sakura versus Shinji in control of Ryder. So Assassin gets kind of caught off guard here. He thought he had the situation completely under control. Something else, an unknown getting thrown into the mix for an assassin is really bad. It's really bad if you can't predict something. Really bad, because then you don't know how to handle it. You have to have a way out for any given situation. So Assassin thought everything was fine. He's just going to finish off Shiro. No, Ryder shows up to protect him and take on Assassin. So Assassin was caught off guard. He's no longer in his role, his best role, where he can pick servants off. He's got someone completely different that he has to deal with now, completely fresh. He was already hurt, and it's someone he didn't predict. He didn't predict this, so he's caught off guard, and he just gets absolutely owned by Ryder. And the scenes during this was really nice. I loved the smooth panning shot of her jumping over the support beam and twirling around and then jerking the chains. Oh my goodness. Not really so much the spinning him around the room and bashing into everything. That was a little bit more rough. And some of the optics weren't real great with this, some of the scenery, but it's not too noticeable. Just on a rewatch, it's more certain things are always more iffy on a rewatch, because then you notice where things are a little loose. So yeah, some of the optics didn't make so much sense during a rewatch. That was a choreography problem. Not a big deal. Eventually, Ryder skewers the noble phantasm shoulder of Assassin. So he's just in agony, and she just owns him, and she gets that trash out of there. Great visuals. I really loved the initial scene too. Her en route, we kind of get to see Ryder's sight. So her kind of en route, arrival, and en route, a jump thing, and arrival, and then her manifesting visuals. And then Shiro's angle was probably a little funny, but yeah, there's the mystery. Who sent Ryder? Who sent Ryder? Who sent Ryder? It couldn't have been Zalkin, remember? It couldn't have been Zalkin. He seems to be on Assassin's side here. That's the other thing this reveals, all near the end here, is that those two are a team. They weren't attacking each other. They weren't fighting. They were seemingly working together. So that's what it reveals here as well, we can deduce. So it seems to be the obvious case, and it's well known for this route anyway, that Sakura is in control of Ryder, at least around this point. So how on earth she got it from Zalkin, who knows? Or if Zalkin was even in control of who got it anyway. I don't know. There's a lot of unknown there. Shinji was in possession of it. Now, supposedly, Sakura. So did Sakura make some sort of deal with Zalkin? Or not? Because if they would have made a deal, surely he would have made sure she would be on his side. But this is directly opposing a servant he's allied with. So things don't make sense. So Sakura seems to be on her own with Ryder here. She's rogue from Zalkin. Very interesting. Very interesting. So, hour 45:51 kind of ends thing off. Assassin flees. He disappears. He didn't get defeated. He just flees. The rider took that trash the heck out. She got him the heck out. 1 hour 46 mark. Things are really ending off here. Shirao is afraid of Ryder. Dummy. She protected him. But he probably did what anyone would do. Self-defense, first priority. So, yeah, at first it may seem dumb that he was afraid of Ryder because we know she was protecting him at the request of someone else. Maybe even a command seal. Probably not, no. But she could have been there just for Assassin, if Assassin were weakened and been scouting him and waiting her time. So it was smart of Shiro. Hour 46, 10 second. Ryder happy he is fine. Based upon what? Why would she be happy that a opposing master or former master is fine? Based upon what? Why is she happy about him being fine? The master of Ryder, Sakura, duh. So Ryder takes off now that he's safe. Mission accomplished. Nothing like helping him back to Sakura or refuge, huh? That might have been the only minor tidbit, but that could have been a little too obvious there. Question. Does he no longer have the healing ability with Saber gone now? Because it was her being tied to Avalon that gave him the healing ability. So he's still got the thing inside him, but it's just not active without Saber, correct? So he don't have the super healing ability now. So he's got to really be careful, presumably. And yet, I think in the trailer for the next one, which was like I don't get that because they even use that for like the preview for the first movie or something, where they're at like a rainy light post area and her and him talk a little or say something. I don't get that because he's all healed up. So supposedly he does still have it, even though he shouldn't have the healing ability. I don't know. That could come into play with the writing many different ways later on. Will it return with, let's just say Dark Saber, Alter Saber, Villain Saber, Heel Saber, whatever different Saber thing is going to happen. Is he going to get his healing ability back? I have no idea. All right, so 1 hour 46, 40-second mark. So that was kind of spoilery, but I think people are going to be in the know anyway about certain details. Surely beloved Saber will return. She was not killed off, so it's an inevitable return in my eyes. Hour 46, 40-second mark. Shiro looks for Saber, and she's nowhere to be seen. It's something else. It really helps it hit home the point that beloved Saber is gone. Gone. She's gone. All right, 147, 6-second. He's wandering about, helpless. No Saber anymore. The unknown lake entity appears out of thin air near Shirao after he calls out for Saber, seemingly checking him out, or whatever the case. and it's called different things, imaginary space, that shadow. And then he tries to approach it, but it disappears. Him angry and upset. He tries to approach, and it just disappears. So it just instantly can appear and disappear. And once again, it's that time that was a lot closer to the lake than before. And he probes questions, what the heck are you? Why? And it didn't move. It didn't move. It appeared and disappeared. One side of it lacks the ribbons concealing the center of it. So that seems to be a humanoid type feature. Eyes, face being front, and it not having anything front, that seems to be a humanoid type thing. So I don't know there. Let's pose the question. If this thing is a humanoid, which it seems to be the case, yet probably supernatural components, if it's a humanoid, which I think it is, based upon that one clue with the optics, the front, there's no concealing, but there's nothing there. There's just nothing there. It's just all the ribbon stuff around it, except the front. Front is face. That's where you look out from, the front. So if this thing has a front, it seems to be a humanoid in some way or form somehow, or functioning as a humanoid would. So given that it seems to be a humanoid, and that there's nothing there, and yet it's there, why does it have to stay under wraps, no pun, of what this thing actually is, or who, with it being, invisible? How could something be invisible? How can somebody have the power to be invisible? Why does the ID of this thing need to be hidden? Maybe. We don't know if it does. But why would it need to be? Or covered up or invisible. Why would it need to be these things? Why is that a necessity? Why would it matter? Does it only matter to the viewers or to all the other characters that it's best they not know? It's someone trying to be secretive. Oh, there's so many questions. Now I'm wishing we would have done this in another part, but oh well. So let's just finish this off. I'm getting so tired. Good gosh. Hour 49, 10 second. Zaukin he's eating other people to stay alive and tethered into the world to keep his longevity going. Not tethered, that would be a servant type thing. But to keep his longevity, he's consuming other people. Oh, good grief, man. And then that's where we see Assassin showing up to him, and we get a complete confirmation of their alliance, essentially. So there's many questions there. Many questions. Were they allied all along? Did Zaukin somehow manifest this different assassin from assassin? Was he behind that? Are they completely servant master, or is assassin still kind of free? If he's not actually a servant, then wasn't it the rule that he has only a limited amount of time and energy? Then why is he able to pull off his noble phantasm twice? He has to be tied to Zaukin, essentially. So that means Zaukin can use 3 command seals on him. Great. That's not good. All right, hour 50. Ilyasville. All this vague talk, but it essentially teased she's going to take action in movie 2, pertinent to Shirao, I guess. The question is she going to be friendly or foe? Hour 50, 30-second mark, we get to return to Saber. This is just some great, shocking newness with this route. We get to visit Saber's consciousness. She's seemingly inside the Grail. She spots the rim, and she's just like swimming in place. It's not doing anything. She's no longer in control. And we get introduced. Someone stops her, and she turns around all angry. And we get this great grand reveal. We are introduced to Dark Saber, Alter Saber, Heel Saber, Villain Saber, whatever you want to call it. Whatever we can presume with what Assassin said, confront her own darkness. So this is like Dark Saber, Alter Saber. I think it's officially called Alter Saber. So this is like the presumably dark part. It's a different persona of hers. It's the dark her. So that alone we could discuss for quite some time. Many different mysteries for movie 2 and 3 with that. With her eventual return, because she didn't get killed off. So this other Dark Saber persona of hers presumably is going to take full control, and she's going to return into this Grail War. Presumably. I think it's safe to say. She was not killed off, so. Question is she going to be still tied to Shirao, or is she going to be rogue? And good grief. Even if she's under Shirao, she can still kind of be rogue, and he'll have to use his command seals. So it could get real bad real fast. Whether she's rogue or not, what would be this Dark Saber's goal or wish be? And if she's not tied to Shirao, she's essentially like an assassin would be, very limited on energy and time. So Saber could only be a very temporary component next time. She might only get in one big attack to change the whole Grail War and disappear, because she don't have a tether, a master. Oh gosh, who could she ally with? Oh my gosh. Don't you dare tease that stuff. Oh my gosh. We'll get into that next time, but we should split this up into two, I guess. It's almost long enough. So, our 52-minute mark, Shiro returns safely onto a waiting, worried Sakura. Him just all battered up, near death, probably from blood loss. And he's just like, I'm back, I'm home, Todaima, or whatever. And her just all worried, snowed upon. How long was she out there? She didn't even have socks. Just drops her umbrella and all that. And I think that's where it kind of ended off. Presumably she ran to him to help him. But I think it ended off near what they were saying there. So time and time again, she saw that he was battered, messed up, all the more reason to protect him, with Ryder or not. So that pretty much was the end of the movie. 1:53:43 second. We get the ED credits, but we get a bonus. We get a bonus. I didn't think there would be a bonus, but we got a little teaser for movie 2, which was a very, very nice surprise. Hour 59, 22 seconds. So about a 30-second teaser or whatever it was, 15-second, 10-second, 30-second, I don't know. I don't remember. So movie 2 preview pops up, putting a smile on everybody's face. It shows several different scenes and lines. Most of it very casual. Car keys gifted to Shiro from Ilya. I'm not understanding what they're going with all that stuff. But interestingly, it showed Gilgamesh, and he's after a female in the attack sense. So presumably Gilgamesh versus some female. He says something about dying while she can, and notice he was on level ground. So it essentially what they're telling us is, hey, viewers, Gilgamesh is stepping into action next time, and we're not going to reveal who. It was very difficult to tell who, but it seems like at the last moment, the blade is deflected. So that kind of eliminates Ilya and Sakura as possibilities. They can't deflect blades from Gilgamesh. Jeez. So who is this mystery female that Gilgamesh takes on, and who he would be confident against? I mean, he'd be confident against any of them, but anyone, but lost the screen there. Gilgamesh versus a female. Die while one can. So he either has the initial edge or the complete advantage, or they're just starting off and he's just got his typical ego. I don't know. Very interesting. Oh, they're teasing. Who could he run into? Who would he want to deal with? My guess order is going to be the Dark, Alter Saber, and then my next guess is Rider, because it can't be Ilya and Sakura. It can't be either of them. They can't deflect a blade, and it sounded like his blade got deflected, his noble phantasm. So there was some sort of clang. There was some sort of clang, like it got knocked away. Die while she can. So, interesting. I don't think there's another option. Castor was defeated. Can't be Castor. I don't think there's any other female servant or main characters. So it's got to be a servant. So that's probably the most interesting thing from the trailer. And then here's where they do this like thing where it was like it was like preview for movie 1, but it wasn't anything about movie 1. It's kind of the thing from them at the raining lamppost. Shiro makes a promise to Sakura, and they got on normal attire, so it's awful casual for whatever chaos movie 2 has in store. So it would probably have to be early on movie 2. He gets healed up, and then he promises to her to stay out of it. I don't know. That would make sense. You don't have Saber, so he promises to stay out of it, and then Saber returns, and then he's kind of forced back into it or something. And then that gives basis for Sakura to keep protecting him or something. All right. So we could have done two video in one here. Sorry. But I'll save some more. I can't believe more, but I'll save a final thing of pre-movie 2 discussion for next time. So I am completely tuckered out after all this. Holy moly. We almost went the complete movie length just for this third analysis part, which should be broken up into 2. Maybe we'll do that. We'll see. So one more part, presumably, and then we're ready for movie 2. Yay. So excited. So it's worth it. So thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think. I think we're on to things. I think we get what they're mildly hinting at. I think we know. It's just a matter of explaining things away, which they might not even do because they might not have time for it. But I think movie 2 is going to really kick things into gear, even though movie 1 was insane. Movie 1 was insane. 3 characters dying off, 2 servants, 2 power players, and Saber being taken, not eliminated, but taken. The, center stage star of the franchise, the show, the series. So it's all too interesting. What on earth is going to happen next time? Movie 2. And then we'll have to wait another year after that. Dang. Oh boy. So after the next movie, 2 hours remain. So we got 66% yet. All right, can't wait. One more video to go. I might split this one up. We'll see. So thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned for more. I will see you up ahead. Let me know what you think. As always, take her cool. I'll see you up ahead.